Welcome everyone back to the Real News Network. I'm Jared Ball here in Baltimore. According to their website, the International Trade Administration strengthens the competitiveness of U.S. industry, promotes trade and investment, and ensures fair trade through the rigorous enforcement of our trade laws and agreements. But according to our next guest, emails and other related documents reveal the International Trade Administration is hooking up fracked gas export terminal owners with investors as the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, and the Department of Energy are in theory doing robust environmental reviews of those same terminals. With us to discuss his recent expose on U.S. International Trade Administration is investigative journalist Steve Horn, who is joining us from his home in Indianapolis, Indiana, where he is also a research fellow at DeSmogBlog. His recent article featured in DeSmogBlog is emails U.S. government facilitated LNG business deals before terminals got required federal permits. Welcome back to the Real News, Steve.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
So if you would just tell us about what these emails and other documents say that you and your comrades there have discovered, and tell us about these liquefied natural gas export terminals, where they are and what they're for.
So the genesis of this investigation was a press release that I saw on a memorandum of understanding signed between the Port of Lake Charles in Louisiana and the Panama Canal Authority. Among other things, LNG, or liquefied natural gas, is mentioned several times within this MOU. And it was an MOU to, between the two authorities to, the Panama Canal would be used robustly once it's expanded for stuff that's shipped out of the Port of Lake Charles. And of course, LNG is super chilled natural gas. Mostly in the United States, that means it comes from fracking. And the gas is carried on huge mega tankers that as of now most of them cannot fit within the Panama Canal. It's not deep enough and it's not wide enough. And so one of the big things the Panama Canal expansion will do is offer an opportunity for LNG companies and people who own them to ship their product in particular to Asian countries in a much quicker manner. And so that is one of the reasons why this MOU is important. There's been other MOUs signed with other port authorities, but this was one glimpse into how the sausage is actually made on federal policy on LNG issues. And what it really showed was that we were told that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the Department of Energy, are doing robust environmental reviews and really looking into what the ecological costs are of these LNG facilities and of exporting natural gas in mass quantities. But at the same time, we see another wing of the U.S. government basically facilitating business deals. As these emails show, they show that the International Trade Administration is hooking up and created a trade mission with Panama, in which owners of facilities, including the company Magnolia LNG and others, were introduced to investors.
Could you say another word or two and maybe add a little detail to some of the business interests that are involved? I mean, who are some of the people or corporations or interests that have gathered to support this endeavor, or who look to benefit from it? Or maybe another way of approaching that same question is in what way has the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission been behind the mass expansion of fracking pipelines?
So, two questions. One is that, to answer the first one, that is that this trip itself, this mission, it was a good example of the business interests that were at the table. It was not only the United States government that was out there, the International Trade Administration and the U.S. Commercial Service, but it was also this other entity in Louisiana called the Committee of 100. Members of the Committee of 100, that's considered, it's called Louisiana's Business Roundtable. And members include Cheniere, members include ExxonMobil, members include the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association, which is a collective of all the oil and gas industry in Louisiana. And so they were all behind organizing this trade mission. And so the second question, of course, is FERC. And FERC has been behind and that's what they do. They permit pipelines, they permit LNG facilities, and thousands and thousands of miles of pipelines. They've now permitted 3 LNG export facilities, including Cheniere Sabine Pass LNG facility down on the Gulf Coast, which will open for business and start shipping LNG to the global market beginning this month. Including, and other companies have gotten those permits too. And there's many more that are now being considered, including companies that are featured in this article, like Magnolia LNG. And so I think that, again, this is an example of what's actually taking place behind the scenes. I think that there's a lot of exploration and investigation to be done on the role of these port authorities, the business deals that they're making with, say, the Panama Canal Authority and others. I think the ports are an extremely underexplored area in terms of looking at political and business influence. They're open to public records requests. That's how I got these records and did this story. But I think that it hasn't been considered strongly enough by journalists just how important these ports are and how they've been interacting with the U.S. government and big business interests.
Well, Steve Horn, thanks again for joining us here at the Real News Network.
Great to be on. Thanks for having me.
And thanks to all of you for joining us as well. Again, for all involved, I'm Jared Ball here in Baltimore saying, as Fred Hampton used to say, to you we say peace if you're willing to fight for it. So peace, everybody, and we'll catch you in the whirlwind.